What happened to the stars we once admired on the red carpet? From flashing cameras and glamorous premieres to the cold reality of prison cells, dozens of once-beloved celebrities are now serving time, forgotten by the world that once cheered them on. This countdown reveals shocking stories of actors, athletes, and entertainers who traded fame for infamy. Lives forever changed by reckless choices, hidden crimes, and dark secrets that could no longer stay buried. As we pull back the curtain, you'll see how quickly fortune can vanish and how even the most powerful names can fall. These are the 20 celebrities still rotting in jail as of 2025. Amy Locane, from Melrose Place, fame to prison shame. Once celebrated for her beauty and charm on Melrose Place, Amy Locane's Hollywood dreams crashed in the most devastating way possible. In 2010, after a night of drinking, she got behind the wheel and caused a tragic crash that claimed the life of a 60-year-old woman and left another seriously injured. The accident was more than just a headline. It was a shocking reminder that one reckless decision can destroy multiple lives in an instant. The court found Locane guilty of vehicular homicide and assault by auto, handing her an 8-year prison sentence. Overnight, she went from walking red carpets to being locked behind bars, her career and reputation shattered. For fans who once saw her as a rising star, the transformation was heartbreaking. Amy's case became a symbol of the devastating consequences of driving under the influence. It didn't just end a promising career, it permanently tied her name to tragedy instead of talent. Today, her story serves as both a cautionary tale and a grim reality check. No amount of fame can protect you from the consequences of bad choices. Michael Jace. From TV cop to convicted killer. Michael Jace was once best known for his role as Officer Julian Lowe on The Shield, where he played a calm, steady police officer who audiences trusted. But in 2014, his real life took a horrifying turn that shocked the nation. Behind closed doors, Jace's marriage had fallen apart, and in a moment of unimaginable violence, he shot and killed his wife April inside their Los Angeles home. Even more heartbreaking, the crime unfolded in front of their 2 young children, leaving them with lifelong scars no child should ever bear. The case instantly made headlines, not just because of Jace's TV fame, but because of the cruel contrast. A man admired for portraying a protector of the community had become the destroyer of his own family. During the trial, the prosecution painted a chilling picture of a jealous and enraged husband who ended his wife's life in cold blood. In 2016, Michael Jace was sentenced to 40 years to life in prison, sealing his fate behind bars. His story stands as a tragic fall from grace, a reminder that no role, no reputation, and no Hollywood image can shield someone from the devastating consequences of domestic violence. Skylar DeLeon Power Rangers extra-turned-cold-blooded killer. Skylar DeLeon once dreamed of stardom. With a brief appearance in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, he hoped to build a Hollywood career. Instead, his name is forever linked to one of the most chilling crimes in California history. In 2004, Skylar and his accomplices lured Tom and Jackie Hawks, a retired couple, onto their yacht under the pretense of a test sail. But what should have been a day at sea turned into a nightmare. The Hawks were restrained, forced to sign over the rights to their boat, and then, in a shocking act of cruelty, tied to an anchor and thrown overboard alive. The brutality of the crime left the public stunned. At trial, prosecutors painted DeLeon as manipulative and motivated by greed. His brief Hollywood ambitions were long forgotten as the horrifying details emerged. The verdict was swift: a life sentence without parole. From a small role in a children's TV show to the darkness of a maximum security prison, Skylar DeLeon's fall from grace is almost unbelievable. His story is a stark reminder that sometimes the most ordinary faces can hide unimaginable evil, and greed can drive a person to commit unthinkable acts. Danny Masterson, sitcom star, sentenced to 30 years to life. Danny Masterson was once a household name. As Stephen Hyde on That 70s Show, he built a reputation as the cool, sarcastic friend who made audiences laugh. Off-screen, however, a darker reality was waiting to surface. Beginning in the early 2000s, multiple women came forward with harrowing allegations of sexual assault. For years, whispers circulated in Hollywood, but it wasn't until the #MeToo era that the truth could no longer be ignored. In 2020, Masterson was charged with assaulting 3 women in separate incidents. His trial revealed disturbing details of manipulation, power, and abuse. What shocked many was not just the crimes themselves, but how long they remained hidden behind the curtain of celebrity and influence. In 2023, the verdict came down: guilty. The judge sentenced Masterson to 30 years to life in prison, a punishment that stunned fans and marked one of the most high-profile convictions of the decade. From sitcom stardom to prison walls, his downfall is both tragic and chilling. Danny Masterson's story is proof that no amount of fame, money, or charm can shield someone from justice. It's a stark reminder that behind the laughter of television, devastating truths can lie hidden for years. Ryan Grantham, Riverdale actor who shockingly killed his own mother. Ryan Grantham was once a familiar face on Canadian television and later appeared in the hit series Riverdale. With his boyish looks and gentle demeanor, he seemed to have a promising career ahead. But in 2020, his life took a horrifying turn when he confessed to one of the most unthinkable crimes imaginable: the murder of his own mother. According to court records, Grantham shot his 64-year-old mother, Barbara Waite, in their British Columbia home while she played piano. The shocking crime left fans and the public stunned, not only for its brutality, but for the chilling confession that followed. Grantham admitted to police what he had done, later expressing remorse but offering no clear explanation for why he took such a tragic step. In 2022, the court sentenced him to life in prison with no possibility of parole for 14 years. The ruling ended his career and transformed him from a rising actor into a convicted killer, forever linked to one of the darkest crimes in recent memory. Ryan Grantham's case stands as a grim reminder that even those who seem to have bright futures can harbor hidden turmoil capable of leading to irreversible tragedy. War Machine, MMA fighter's rage that ended in life behind bars. Jonathan Koppenhaver, better known by his fight name War Machine, once thrilled crowds inside the cage with his relentless aggression and iron will. His reputation as a ferocious MMA fighter earned him fans who admired his toughness and raw energy. But outside the octagon, that same fury spiraled into something far darker. In 2014, War Machine brutally attacked his ex-girlfriend, adult film star Christy Mack, and a male friend during a violent outburst. The assault was so savage it left Mack with broken bones, missing teeth, and permanent injuries. Photos of her battered face shocked the world, turning public opinion against the once-celebrated fighter almost overnight. During his trial, prosecutors described him as a man consumed by jealousy and uncontrolled rage. The jury agreed. In 2017, he was convicted on 29 felony counts, including kidnapping and sexual assault. The sentence was devastating: life in prison with the possibility of parole only after 36 years. From MMA star to inmate, War Machine's story is one of wasted talent and terrifying violence. His fall from grace stands as a chilling reminder that uncontrolled anger can destroy not only a career, but also countless lives around it, forever sealing his legacy in infamy. Elizabeth Holmes. From Silicon Valley visionary to prison inmate, Elizabeth Holmes was once hailed as the next Steve Jobs, a brilliant young entrepreneur who promised to revolutionize healthcare with her company, Theranos. With her black turtlenecks, deep voice, and bold vision, she convinced investors, military leaders, and even former U.S. officials that a single drop of blood could run hundreds of life-saving tests. At its peak, Theranos was valued at $9 billion, and Holmes was celebrated as the youngest self-made female billionaire. But behind the glossy image was nothing but smoke and mirrors. The technology didn't work. Patients were misled, investors were deceived, and the dream that once captivated Silicon Valley collapsed in scandal. In 2022, Holmes was convicted on multiple counts of fraud and conspiracy, facing the reality that her empire was built on lies. Once a symbol of innovation, she is now serving an 11-year federal prison sentence, stripped of her status and credibility. Her story is one of the most dramatic downfalls in tech history, a warning about unchecked ambition and the devastating consequences of deception. From boardrooms filled with powerful backers to a prison cell, Elizabeth Holmes's fall shows how quickly brilliance can turn into betrayal. Aaron Hernandez, NFL star who threw it all away. Aaron Hernandez was once one of the brightest young talents in the NFL. As a tight end for the New England Patriots, he signed a $40 million contract and was expected to carve out a legendary career. But behind the touchdowns and roaring stadiums, Hernandez lived a double life, one entangled with violence and troubling connections to the criminal underworld. In June 2013, the sports world was shaken when semi-professional player Odin Lloyd was found dead in an industrial park near Hernandez's home. All evidence pointed back to the rising NFL star. The arrest stunned fans and teammates alike. How could a man at the peak of his career be tied to such a brutal act? After a highly publicized trial, Hernandez was convicted of first-degree murder in 2015 and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. While he was later acquitted in a separate double homicide case, his time in prison was short-lived. In 2017, he was found dead in his cell. His death ruled a suicide. Hernandez's story is one of the most tragic downfalls in sports history. A tale of wasted potential, shattered trust, and the haunting truth that fame and fortune cannot erase the consequences of violence. Mel Hall. From baseball star to 45 years. Behind bars, Mel Hall was once known for his power at the plate and his colorful personality on the field. A talented outfielder who played for teams like the Chicago Cubs, Cleveland Indians, and New York Yankees, Hall entertained fans with his confidence and flair. But after retiring from Major League Baseball, his life took a dark and disturbing turn that would erase his achievements forever. In the years following his career, Hall became involved in coaching youth basketball, where he abused his position of trust. Multiple young girls came forward with allegations of sexual misconduct, exposing a years-long pattern of predatory behavior. The revelations stunned the sports community and horrified the public. In 2009, Hall was convicted on several counts of sexual assault against minors. The court sentenced him to 45 years in prison, a punishment so steep that it effectively guaranteed he would never walk free again. Once remembered for his athletic talent, Hall is now a cautionary tale about betrayal, abuse of power, and the devastating harm caused when trust is violated. His story shows how a career filled with promise can be permanently overshadowed by unforgivable crimes. Harvey Weinstein. Hollywood kingmaker turned convicted predator. For decades, Harvey Weinstein was one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. As co-founder of Miramax and later the Weinstein Company, he produced blockbuster films, launched careers, and seemed untouchable. With a single phone call, he could make or break an actor's future. But behind the glamour and Oscar-winning success was a disturbing pattern of abuse that the world could no longer ignore. In 2017, the floodgates opened when dozens of women, actresses, assistants, and aspiring talents came forward with harrowing stories of harassment, assault, and manipulation. Their courage ignited the global #Me Too movement, exposing not just Weinstein, but an entire culture of silence and fear within the entertainment industry. Weinstein's trials were highly publicized and revealed shocking details of his predatory behavior. In 2020, he was sentenced to 23 years in New York for rape and sexual assault. Just 2 years later, in Los Angeles, he received an additional 16 years for similar crimes. Today, the man who once sat at the top of Hollywood's food chain spends his life in a prison cell. Harvey Weinstein's downfall is more than just one man's disgrace. It's a landmark in the fight for accountability, proving that even the most powerful cannot escape justice.